Chris Palme here, live at Crossbody Pro Wrestling at 132 North Argyle Street in Cambridge, and I have a special guest with me, Crossbody Pro Wrestling former heavyweight champion, Aiden Prince. Aiden, thoughts on your match tonight against Mikey Jenkins?
That Mikey Jenkins is a tough kid, man. Very tough kid. Mikey, I've watched since he was a referee here at Crossbody, so very special match for me, and he brought it, so I am very, very proud of Mikey. Very proud. So I feel pretty good.
Now, you were out with an injury. How difficult was it during that time, and how much more do you now appreciate being in the squared circle coming back from your injury?
It's a great question. I'll be honest, man. Hardest 9 months of my life. I sat in a wheelchair, watching wrestling, forgetting what it was like to be this. And I think that was the hardest part, is wondering if I was ever going to be able to do this again. So coming back, you have this whole new appreciation, this whole new love. You remember what it felt like to be that kid in front of the TV watching Hulk Hogan again, you know what I mean? So for me, it's every match you see is going to be a better me, a new me. I'm not going out there just to phone it in. I'm out there to kill it. So the appreciation is going to show in my matches, that's for sure.
Thoughts on Ben Ortman's in Crossbody Pro Wrestling?
I got a lot of thoughts. Ben Ortman's is one of my best friends, if not my best friend. I've watched him take Crossbody from, a little promotion to what it is now. He's doing unique things like Uproar every week on YouTube. Ben has this mind for wrestling that's bigger than most, because he sees way bigger things. And I mean, another guy I'm very proud of is that big Ben Ortman's.
Aiden, you're from Windsor, Ontario. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. And when did you know that you wanted to get into the world of professional wrestling? And maybe some of your favorite WWE, AEW superstars.
For me, I got into wrestling very, very young, to the point I can't remember how old I was. I was in diapers, watching the Road Warriors on my grandmother's TV. So that was my first memories of wrestling, and that's when I knew I wanted to do it, as crazy as that sounds. And then you get older and you keep doing this, and teachers tell you not to, and it drives you that much more. And then they say you're too small, and it drives you that much more. And it's something that I love to say. I've always been a pro wrestler. It's like my favorite thing ever. And I grew up with influences like Hulk Hogan, of course, but seeing guys like Shawn Michaels, Brian Pillman, Marty Jannetty, I could go on for hours to names, man. But smaller guys that kind of reminded me, yeah, you can still do this and be a small guy. So those were my biggest influences. Now, Windsor is my biggest influence. I grew up watching BCW as a kid, so I grew up looking at the flyers of the wrestling school there. So to go to Can-Am Wrestling School, and for them to make me into what I am today, now being signed to Impact Wrestling, Windsor will forever be Prince City.
Do you remember your first match and first victory? And what are some of your favorite moves to perform in the ring?
Okay. It wasn't necessarily my first match. It was my first match in Windsor. I wrestled a man named Johnny Bravo, who was one of my trainers. And, going behind the curtain a little bit, he beat the ever-living hell out of me, literally. And then I lost the match in front of my hometown, and it was brutal. Fast forward about 6 months, we have this huge match. There's a big payoff. I finally beat, the evil trainer. My whole city was behind me. All my best friends, my family were there. It was insane. So those are probably my biggest moments. That on top of, I got to work with Pete Dunne in Windsor. I've been BCW Tag Team Champions twice now. I'm the current BCW Tag Team Champion. It's a very, very special place. And sky's the limit, man. I'm not done there, for sure.
How did you come up with your finishing move and the name for it?
So my finisher is the 450 splash. When I was younger, I was a huge Too Cold Scorpio Flash Funk fan. Fast forward a little more, I was a huge Paul London fan, and his finisher was a 450 splash. And it wasn't just a 450 splash, it was a very pretty 450 splash. Now, I remember that sticking out to me to the point I was blessed with having a wrestling ring in my backyard when I was a kid. So it was a goal of mine to climb the top rope 1,000,000 times a day until I had that pretty 450. Not just front flip and land, but a pretty one. And once I got good at it, no one's ever kicked out of it. It's worked 9 times out of 10. So it's the go-to move, and it works.
What are some of your most memorable matches in your career so far, and maybe with crossbody pro wrestling, and maybe whoever your toughest opponent in the ring has been so far?
Some big matches I've had at crossbody. I've wrestled Jake Something, who is a big man in Impact TNA right now. I wrestled Michael Elgin here. We went a good almost hour beating the hell out of each other. I've stood across the ring from Pete Dunne in Windsor. I wrestled Tyler Bate at Destiny. I've had Blake Christian at Destiny. The matches go on and on. Those are all my big name matches that kind of elevated my career and showed people that I can hang with the best of them.
What was it like winning the Crossbody Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship?
It was a huge deal for me because I watched Holden Albright carry the belt around this place. And not just carry the belt around this place, I watched him make it something. I watched him make the belt a prestigious thing by defending it week after week and having these banger matches and those type of things. And I remember winning the title thinking that's what I need to be. I need to set the standard of this place, have banger matches every time. And that was what I planned on doing. Unfortunately, I got hurt and I had to, hand the belt over. But that's all part of the story, is the rise to getting it back. So,
okay, just two quick questions to wrap this up. Yeah. Babyface or heel? And what is a fun fact about Aiden Prince that the fans might not know about?
Okay. For me, I always loved being a babyface because I genuinely loved the cheers and having fun and those type of things. And then there was a story arc where I became a bit of a bad guy for a minute. And when I really embraced it, and I figured out a way to make the fans love to boo me, not just by being a complete jerk, being a character, being that stone coldish, they boo me, but they kind of like to cheer me. That was the coolest part about being a heel. But I will say, coming back and getting the love that I have and the support and the respect, there's no feeling like it, man. So I gotta say babyface. Yeah.
And just a quick fun fact about you, and where can my audience follow you on social media and your next up-and-coming match?
Okay. So first we'll start with upcoming match, because that's tomorrow night at IWS in Montreal, taking on Benjamin Tull for their IWS championship. So that'll be a really big one. You can find me on everything Aiden Prince. You know where to find me. Just Google it, find it. I'm there. And a fun fact about me, besides the fact that I have a beautiful daughter now, I thank you very much. I am a graphic designer, and I also do social media for Impact Wrestling as well as wrestle on the show. So that's a cool fact that not everybody knows about me.
That's amazing. But Aiden Prince, I want to say thank you so much for doing this interview, and good luck in your match tomorrow night. And hopefully we'll see you in a few weeks back here at Crossbody Pro Wrestling here in Cambridge.
Damn right. Thank you. Long live Prince.